Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Sardia. Have you subscribed yet? What about your friends? Go ahead, tell them to subscribe. We have some great content coming their way. All right, so today I want to talk to you about, if you're in the US, I'm sure this is all around the world because everyone watches what the US does, right? We just had our election and Donald Trump, he won again for the second time. He's going to be our next president this coming January 2025. And Donald Trump is a polarizing figure. I mean, people feel different ways about him. That's not what this video is about. I will not be discussing my political views on YouTube, as I'm a spiritual person. I'm not into politics, but I do have some political views that I don't necessarily care to discuss on a public platform like YouTube, okay? Only if the time is right. And right now is not the time. So in any case, Donald Trump is president-elect, and he has his own policies that he purports, or things that he knows that he wants to put forth once he goes back into the White House. And one of them is around education and the Department of Education. And it's a very, very touchy subject about education. And before I even get into it, this book, Reflections of a Tribal Soul, is my first book. But this book, Post-Pandemic Classrooms, please check it out. Walmart, Barnes and Noble, Amazon is the easiest way to get it. It's also in green and white. So make sure you go ahead and get a copy of this book. It's a great read. And it really informs both parents, administrators, teachers on the landscape of the classroom now and the education system post-pandemic, which is very important. So check this book out. I'll leave the link at the bottom for you to purchase a copy, all right? So in any case, one of Donald Trump's talking points when he was running for the election is the idea that he wants to dismantle, really, the Department of Education. Now, as an educator, I laugh because I'm like, I don't foresee that happening, right? When we're living in an operative society, we need a banking system, we need healthcare, and we definitely need an education system, right? And so he's arguing that he wants to get rid of the Department of Education because they're not efficacious, or whatever the reasons are that he wants to get rid of the Department of Education. And the first thing I think about as a parent, as an educator, is what is that going to look like? I mean, in society, anything is feasible. But in the context of the United States, I don't foresee that happening for Donald Trump. That's an ambition that he has, but I don't see that coming to fruition anytime soon or ever. So I start to think about the cons of even getting rid of the Department of Education, like all the bad things that could happen. The loss of federal oversights relative to standardized exams, which I'm not really a fan of. The apparatus of how we educate young people, that would be gone. Funds reduction. This is very important because as a person of color, a lot of low income schools, like they get Title I, which is a funding that they get in order to keep the school afloat and keep the school going. Unlike rich neighborhoods where, people pay their taxes and whatnot, and, you have people who donate and so on and so forth. That's not the plight for low income schools. So for him to think about dismantling the Department of Education, that's going to be a very, very difficult thing to do, because that particular issue of funding for low income schools, that would definitely be impacted. Another one that is very crucial in this law, the IDEA law was passed in 1974, is special education. How are we going to educate our young people who have special needs? We can't just get rid of the Department of Education. I think about the other implication for this is civil rights, right? I think of 1954, Brown versus the Board of Education, which says that we can no longer segregate schools by law. So if he were to get rid of the Department of Education, that would definitely be a huge problem. And for me as a teacher, I think about teacher quality, right? We don't have a certification program. We don't see how teachers are trained before we put them in the classroom. So those things will be impacted. I mean, guys, it would be tons of disparities that would rear their head if he were to do this. but I don't foresee this happening anytime soon, you know? So I would say to parents and even to educators, fellow educators, don't worry about it. He's just talking, really. I really believe he's just talking. And Mr. Trump, the likelihood of you watching this video is probably slim to none. You want to hear from people who've been in the field, like persons like myself, experts who've been in the field and understand the plight of these young people and what they need. And to just get up and get rid of the Department of Education is just, that's not, you can't do that, right? Are there areas that need to be fixed? Absolutely, like with anything else, like with any sector, right? Teacher preparation programs, certification, exams, all these other variables. But to get rid of it, it's not going to happen, guys. There are too many things. There are too many apparatuses and too many systems within the one system that would be impacted in a negative way. So I don't foresee that happening. All right. So remember, get a copy of my book, Post-Pandemic Classrooms. But listen, come here, tell your friend. Like this video. Yes, you got to like it. You have to subscribe to this channel and you have to make a comment at the bottom for us, okay? Take care. Bye.